Okay. And I think, let me give it 30 seconds here to make sure the visual comes through. And we're live, sir. The Grind Mastermind episode numero 4. It's gone pretty quick, actually. March 3rd,
Grinding.
2023.
Grinding as usual, yes.
Chris, how the heck are you?
I'm good. I've been super busy. I actually started two new client projects, and I got another one started next week, so it's gonna be pretty busy.
Don't go into too much detail yet, all right? We're
Yeah,
just saying hello, you know?
yeah.
Ease us into it. It sounds like it'll be a good update. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, I guess we can just jump in. We were just talking before, for those watching either live on YouTube or watching the YouTube video, I'm trying to figure out how to get an actual timer up on the screen so we can have like 10-minute blocks. Anyways, I'll get it ready for the next episode.
And don't forget the explosion when the timer goes out.
Now you're asking me for a lot. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. I'll get the timer. We'll start with the timer and we'll go from there. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's jump in for any of our new listeners. Chris and I have been pals for a long time, and every 2 weeks we actually started our own, just like the two of us, kind of keeping ourselves accountable, kind of like a two-person mastermind, catching up every 2 weeks, setting goals, and eventually we were like, well, why the heck don't we just record it and turn it into a show? So here we are. Thanks for tuning in. Chris will. We each get about 10 minutes to go through the updates from the last 2 weeks and what we want to focus on for the next 2 weeks, and then we usually spend 5-10 minutes, shooting the shit, talking about books, talking about other cool tools. So, anyways, I'll stop rambling. Chris, you want to talk about how the last 2 weeks go and what the next two might look
Sure.
like?
Yeah, so my goals for this week were around launching a giveaway to my newsletter. Then I was working on the sales page for one experiment, top secret experiment that I've been working on, and
Top secret.
also looking into cross promotions for the newsletter again. So I launched the giveaway. The giveaway also is done. It's completed. Finished 2 days ago.
I didn't even win. I
So I
thought you were
got
gonna fix it or something. No, I
yeah,
guess
no,
it
no,
was an
it's
honest, authentic giveaway.
I just use King Sumo. It's random.
I've been excited to hear about it. So how did it go? Did it exceed expectations? Match expectations? Were you happy with the
Uh,
results?
I would say I was happy first just because I tried it and it was a good learning experience, being the first time that I was doing something similar. As far as results, I didn't get. I still have to look into like the actual like concrete data, and I'm not entirely sure how I'll be able to do that because I don't see referrals in the platform in the dashboard.
Hmm.
I just see the amount of people shared, so the entries. So it might be that I didn't get any referrals, but I see 140 entries. So at least my hopes are that the brand name circled around there and the word got spread a bit. That was my main goal. I wasn't hoping for a lot of subscribes, especially because my list it's still quite small, and it's also there's not uh like influencers that are part of my list, right? So they don't have huge communities. So I
Hmm.
wasn't expecting a lot of signups. And also I was running cross promotions at the same time, so the data might be a bit mixed in. So I don't want to jump to conclusions for the giveaway.
Right.
But yeah, it was a fun and good experiment to learn something. Also, it was a nice way to show to my list that I'm active, that I'm giving back in a way. So yeah, it was good, and I'm just I picked the three winners, so I'm basically emailing back and forth to give them the prize and the prizes now.
Right. Would you
But
do
yeah,
Would you do it again?
maybe not until I reach a substantial amount of subscribers, so probably around 500 or 1,000 subscribers, so that I can get a higher return and also make it a bit more fun, engaging,
Right.
come up with something interesting.
I guess that's true, eh? The more, it's kind of funny because you're trying to do it to grow your list, in a sense. At least that's one of the goals. But the bigger your list is, the bigger the results will probably be, because you have a bigger army sharing it on their socials and stuff like that.
Yeah, it compounds in a way. And right now I'm only around 270 people. So it's not huge. It's not big numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, considering where you started, like, what, half a year ago, a year ago, it's cool. Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
So that's cool. So what about
I can go into cross promotions. Speaking for the list, cross promotions, on the other hand, went super well. I've used this platform. It's called Letter Growth. I don't remember if I spoke about it last time.
Letter Growth?
But it's a free platform that's built by this guy called Paul McCullough. I wanted to do a shout out because he's a really good guy, and the platform works really well. Completely free. You can join. They also invite you, for now, it's still free, to a Discord group where you can talk about newsletter growth with other newsletter owners.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you jump on the platform and you have this kind of dashboard where you can see and filter other newsletters based on the niche, kind of the interest. That you can see who their target audience is, what kind of target audience they would like to cross promote to, and also what is their minimum subscriber count that they would like the other newsletter to have. But even if I reached out to a couple newsletters who have like 1,000 or 1,000 subscribers, and they wanted kind of the same amount of subscribers, even though mine is only 260, I got a lot of those bigger ones cross promoting for me as well. So they don't really mind as long as the audience is a fit.
Right.
So that was good. And like, consider, in one day I reached out to 26 of those, and I got a reply the same day by 15 or 16 saying that they wanted to do the cross promotion.
Holy
and
crap.
I'm keeping track of that on a spreadsheet now, and in total so far I'm working on those 15. I already booked a couple, already went live, and I've already gotten subscribers. Not a huge number, but consider maybe for like one newsletter that was quite big, sent over like 10, 15 subscribers.
Right.
Which was still good for free, considering it's for free.
It's a great idea. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'll talk about it in my update, because I want to do one or two more things first. But if you, like, number one, newsletters are in right now, right? Like, they're the thing to be doing. Everyone and their mother has a newsletter. And if you read any of the strategies and guides and blog posts about how to grow, like, cross promotion is one of the huge ones, right? So this makes sense. I'm going to have to jump on this because it sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially because if people are on other newsletters, they like newsletters, right? So kind of like what you were alluding to, if you can just find newsletters with a similar target audience, it's awesome. Cool.
Exactly. And it doesn't necessarily need to be like super similar or super close as far as the target audience, as long as they have interests that like intersect with your newsletter. That's fine. Like, people are willing to learn new things, and if they like your personality, your website, when they get to the landing page, that's all a plus.
Awesome. You want to go into goals for the next?
Yeah, the other goal that I had was to get the draft of the sales page for that funnel done. I just finished it this morning, which I'm pretty stoked about.
Nice.
So the next step is I have to basically look into running Facebook ads, which I'm a total newbie at. I don't know anything. If you have any resource, or you ever done anything,
I've done a decent
Facebook ads.
I've done a decent amount. I'm by no means an expert, but it's when you open up the screen for the first time, you're going to be like, what in the world is going on? And then it's one of those things where you spend a week or two or three doing it, and then it starts to click. And I feel like it's one of those things that can seem very complicated. It's actually quite simple. The beauty is in, actually cracking the code, right? Having a really good visual, really good text, the right targeting, et cetera, et cetera. So is one goal what, like learn like do you want the goal to be set up Facebook ads or learn about Facebook ads, or
In 2 weeks, yeah, I would say.
come up with an in-depth strategy? Or
Do you think it's realistic to launch Facebook ads? Maybe not. No.
yeah, I mean it depends how much time you want to put into it, right? Theoretically or technically in like 2-3 days you could have an ad up and running. And the beautiful thing is you can test with such small amounts, right? That's what the beautiful thing is. So
Yeah.
like if you want to hustle and get it out quick, you could have an ad running this week and just spend $5 a day, right? And see how it performs and then continue learning. So it's kind of up to you. I would probably recommend spend a day or sit down for like 2, 3, 4 hours. We're gonna have to clip this as like how to get into Facebook ads. Sit down for like 2, 3, 4 hours and just like Google, YouTube it, right? How to make sure it's more recent videos because the ads manager has updated over the years. Or I think Facebook even has a course, right? Now all these platforms have a course, right? Like Google has a course on their own, stuff. So if Facebook has a quick course, do that, or just watch like the top 5 to 10 videos on how to set up Facebook ads in 2023. It really comes down to, man, like once you get into the weeds, it's targeting, right? So set up your target audience, what ages, what locations, what interests might they have? Like there's all these things you don't have to, but like you can search by, right? So for you, it might be like men between 25 and 40 who live in, maybe you want to do it by UK, or maybe you want to include Italy because you have that. Like you can pick specific countries and cities, and then you can say, I want people who are interested in Gary Vee and Frank Kern, right? Like you can get really into the weeds. So number one is targeting, has to be really good. Number two is the visual. It can be a photo, it can be a carousel, it can be a video, blah, blah, blah. It has to be a showstopper, right? You want to stop people in their scroll because on Facebook they're probably scrolling. And then third is the text, right? The copy. I don't have to tell you how to do that. You're pretty good. And then the last thing is where are you sending them, right? So the landing page, it sounds like you almost have it ready, and obviously you know a thing or two about landing pages. That's all you need, right?
So
easier said than done, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, like the guys in this course that I've been following to build this funnel, they basically said that the algorithm got really good. So once you find your way into the right targeting, it becomes pretty much automatic. Like they are able to really fine tune it automatically on their own based on the responses. But yeah, in 2 weeks, I still actually have to build the landing page. I have the copy ready. I basically have to put it live on the website. So that's gonna be work. So I would say just start learning about Facebook ads and maybe plan the strategy.
Learn
plan
about
the strategy
and plan strategy for
and build
Facebook ads.
and build the landing page.
Build
on the
landing
website.
page. Yeah, their stuff's really good. The other thing I would recommend is do a lot of testing, right? So because you can spend so little per ad, come up with like 2, 3, 4 targets, and then 2, 3, 4 visuals, and then 2, 3, if you want to go deep, right? You don't have to do this.
Yeah.
And then just have like 10 versions, plug $5 a day into each, and then you can just start tuning down or tuning up ads that are working or not, right?
Okay.
So
you can run them at the same time, right?
yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want. As long as you're paying Facebook, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? So what I would probably do is come up with like three or 4 markets, 3 or 4 variations of the ad, and run a version of each to each market. So you'll have like 12, and then see which ones perform.
So consider the audience. It's quite specific already because the offer is already specific. So it's e-commerce, 6 figures maximum, e-commerce business owners, founders. So that's the target
Okay.
audience. So I have to find maybe
You're gonna have to find
maybe
proxies,
industries.
right? So yeah, so like you can't click like e-commerce owner, right? Unless they might have that. I don't know if they have that. They have some occupations, right? Lawyer, doctor, blah blah blah. But I don't, they might have entrepreneur, business owner, but you can't click like six-figure e-commerce owner. So the way around that is you try to find some proxies, right? Like they like not Doyle Brunson.
Russell Brunson.
They like Russell Brunson. I think Doyle Brunson was like a famous poker player.
Can you also use podcasts? Because I know podcasts that they listen to. I've also been on an e-commerce podcast.
So you type it in and you can see if it comes up. Some of them might.
Okay.
Like an interest in the Joe Rogan podcast, for example, probably comes up.
Yeah.
The small ones, I don't know, but go test.
Uh-huh.
If you just make the target make a couple of them because you never know what could click and what could not, and then like the algorithm takes over, and then you can in the future just use what they call lookalike audiences. So you can just tell Facebook, hey, just pick people that are like the people from my last thing that worked. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't overthink the audience too much. But I would, especially if I had like a team, if I'm talking to a business owner who has like a team right now and they, this is very important, I would definitely have like 3, 4, 5 audiences, 3, 4, 5 ads. And then every week cut the ad that's doing the worst and test a new ad to see how it goes against the competition. Yeah. Anyways. Okay, so is that it for the next 2 weeks? So we have learn about and plan strategy for Facebook ads, build landing page. Anything else that you wanted in there?
No, pretty excited to see how the Facebook ads go, just because I'm interested in learning, and also.
Is this for the email list? Is this specifically to grow the email? Okay.
No,
cool.
No, this is for info product business. So basically, I want to start and develop the info product.
But why don't you take a page out of Ben Settle and try to promote the email list? Get them on your email list, and then upsell the info product, right? Because then at least you have their email. No.
No.
Just like
because
I don't care.
I have this whole plan.
All right.
I've already. It's basically like and I'll dive deeper maybe once it's live. But basically, you have this whole funnel, upsells stuff that basically the whole purpose is to work kind of automatically.
But what if they click and don't? But what if they click and then don't buy?
So the goal for this launch, I still have to build a product, right? So this is gonna be basically testing the offer. So if they sign up, I'm gonna add them to an email list, and then I'll build a product. So that's the strategy right now. So I'm not investing a ton of time on building yet.
Okay,
but
so you don't have it ready.
If the idea work, yeah.
So you're pulling the Tim Ferriss, right? You're kind of like,
yeah,
testing before building. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how this goes. Cool.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Anything else before we flop over?
No, pretty much done.
Okay, I need you to quickly read my 2 or 3 because I'm in a different page to update the next with our new goals. It was reach out to 20 people, finish the website, I think, right? And there was a third one I can't remember.
20 outreach per day, finish the SG website including join page and key messaging. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, it's just those 2? Okay.
Oh, I thought there was launch cold email campaign.
Oh, right.
Link.
Okay, so we did that. Okay, so we'll start on the Visto side. Been a pretty good 2 weeks. I've been doing a lot of outreach. I started doing cold calling for a couple days, but then we realized that Alex, my CTO, started the cold email campaign, and so people would get emails and calls before an email, then an email before a call.
The same people?
Yeah, because we started at the top. We both started at the top of the list. Yeah, so anyways. But what we realized was that it's actually a good idea if you're more strategic about it. The problem was I would call someone and I didn't know if they had gotten an email or not. And they were like, oh yeah, I got the email. And I was like, huh, what? You know what I mean? So anyways, so we took a step back and we said, okay, let's integrate this stuff. And now Josh is going to cold call a day after people receive an email. So we're putting in place a system where first people get our first email because we have a sequence, right? They get the first email, then I'll call those people the next day. So, and now I have it in my head, right? Oh, hey, did you see my email? Blah, blah, blah. Now, it was actually interesting, and I think it'll work because, for example, one person I was able to convert into a demo because I called them and they said, oh yeah, I saw your email. It actually does look interesting. But you know how that happens, right? Somebody opens a cold email, it might look interesting, then their phone rings, then their dog pees, and they're gone, right?
Yeah.
They forget about you. So I actually think combining the cold email or LinkedIn or whatever with the cold call is actually a really good dynamic. So anyways, I'm going to revise that. So it went well, but we're going to be... Yeah.
So why is it? Are you two guys doing it like separately? Why do you send the email and Alex does the call?
Well,
Why don't you
he's
also
the
do
tech.
the calls?
He's just set. No, I'm doing the calls. I'm doing all the calls.
Okay.
He just set up the campaign because he's good with tech.
All right.
Yeah, I've
Okay,
set it
okay.
up before, but we wanted to divide and conquer. And so then after a day, it hit us like, wait, we need to synergize these two things, right? So I'm going to say, continue cold call outreach in sync with cold email. So that's been pretty good. The cold calls get easy. Like the first 10 suck, and then the second day kind of sucks, and then it's not so bad once you get into it. I think part of it is if you're just really specific and direct and you're targeting the right people, it's not that bad, right? Because what's everybody's biggest fear of a cold call? Somebody yells at you, right? But if you're selling e-commerce whatever and you're calling e-commerce people, the worst they're going to say is, oh, that's interesting, like, no thanks, and that's it, and you hang up and you dial the next number, right? So it's not so bad. If you get a good list, you have good crisp messaging, like I get right to the point. Hey, do you do this? Are you interested in that? Yes, no, okay, great. If they are, hey, do you want to set up a quick demo? Blah, blah, blah. So it's going pretty well. Getting into a good system, the last thing I'll say is having a good system set up so you can create no additional excuses in your head, right? Have the list ahead of time, have the name, have the number, have the website, so you can just go bang, 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 bang. Because once you get a couple going, it's like anything, right? Once you do the first few, you get into a rhythm, you keep going. One of the calls converts, you get excited, you're feeling good, so you're more motivated to keep going. So anyways, I'll have more to share probably in 2 weeks about it. And cold calling, I feel like, is probably a little bit underrated these points because people are so used to technology and automation.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyways, so that's
Do
number
you find
one.
that do you find that these people that you call are kind of surprised when you call them, or are they used to cold calls or getting cold calls?
It's a good question. Let me think about that. Not really surprised. I think the key is you need that great 1 to 3 sentence pitch.
The
right?
hook.
Because they pick up and they're like, hello, and I'm like, hi, is this blah 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 speaking? Yes. Who are you? You need a really good answer to that question, right? Or who are you? Or who's this? Or what's this about? Right? If you have a really good answer to that, you'll keep them at least there to give you a respectable answer. And the answer could be no, right? But they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, no. Like a lot of these calls, even when they say no, they actually end with thank you, right? And again, this takes some practice and having a good strategy. Like I have a sales advisor who's helped me a lot over the last year or two. So I'm in really good hands, right? I've done sales myself for the last 5-6 years anyways, but I have an advisor who's like an A+ salesman, right? So he like, I didn't go in blind with this, right?
Yeah.
But like, hey, yeah, who the heck are you, right? Oh, I'm Josh. I'm an immigration lawyer. I'm just wondering if you guys do a lot of this type of work because we have blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And so if you have that and it's right to the point and it hits that target because you're targeting the right people, then it goes pretty well. And they're not that surprised. And so usually the answer is, no, we don't really do much of that, but that sounds interesting. Thanks for letting me know, right? Or yeah, that actually is interesting. Tell me more, and then blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. Cameo is watching live and says 100 with the 100 emojis.
Nice.
So I have somebody who agrees. So anyways, cold calling, super interesting, fun experience. I'll probably be doing a lot of it over the next few months, so we can share more about it. Just because we're getting behind here on schedule. I'll quickly talk about SG. So on the SG side, got the website finished thanks to your introduction. So
Ah, cool.
redesigned the
We'll see.
website. Check it out. It looks 10 times better, I think, because I'm a terrible designer and she's an actually good
Oh,
designer.
wow. Like the
So
colors.
yeah, she added the blue, which is kind of
Yeah.
nice, and the design is just better, right? It's just
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. It's just better. Solopreneurgrind.com for those of you who want to check it out. And the only thing I have to touch up is I might touch up the join page. Like she did the design of the join page. I think I want to touch up the copy a little bit, and I have to reset up the actual join box because she just set it up with like the Elementor widget, and I need to hook it up to Aweber so
Mm.
to actually collect the email. So, anyways, so we'll say so that's good, and then once I have all that finalized, I can start implementing all these things that you're testing before me. You're my testing dummy, Chris. So based on what works for
Guinea
you, I'm
pig.
just yeah, exactly. So we'll say finalize join page on SG site, and then I'm gonna say pick first growth strategy to test. And I feel like I might try out this letter growth that you mentioned because it just makes so much sense.
Yeah, I would try one sponsorship with the budget you have that you can start. There are some that are even like $250. I would pick one sponsorship and go fully into cross promotions, as many as you can get.
Right. Okay. So pick
For
for.
sponsorship, you
I'll
can
put in
use
brackets sponsor and or cross promo, and I'll
yeah.
put here letter growth.
For the sponsorships, you can use Swapstack.
What's it called? Swap stack?
Swapstack.
Like SWAP stack?
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is why we have this show, people. This is great. I don't have to do any research now. I have everything I
Compounding
need.
of ideas.
That's it. You want to quickly talk about books or any other cool tools that?
I finished another book. Yes,
Nice.
for
What'd you
sure.
finish?
I finished So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. Did you read it?
I've never read it. I've heard about it many times. What did you
It's
think?
really, really good. I was interested in learning, like reading it because I've heard about it a lot of times as well, but never got to it. But lately, I got more interested into learning about because I realized that I'm getting really passionate about like this business stuff, and sometimes it's even funnier to me or more exciting to like work on building like business stuff than just maybe I don't know go out or something getting
Hmm.
drunk. I stopped drinking by the way, but uh, I'm getting really passionate about it. And one thing was like realizing that a passion doesn't have to be this high calling, like this calling that you need can be just mastering your skill set.
Hmm.
And that's one of the main things that the book is about, which is basically all about like you get fulfillment and meaning, like a meaningful career by getting passionate about building your skill set, building mastery, and working at it. And there's
Hmm.
a like one good quote that he says is, "You have to get good before you can expect good work,"
Hmm.
which is basically all about like master one skill, get really good at it, and you'll find eventually the passion, the purpose that you've been looking for. It doesn't have to be you don't have to feel called by a higher god or something.
Right. I think that's probably been yeah overemphasized by like all the gurus online, right? The word passion gets
Yeah.
inflated, etc., etc. Cameo says I've heard about it but not read it too. I'm just going to plug for those of you watching or listening. We do record this live every second Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So check out Solopreneur Grind on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and follow if you ever want to tune in live as well. Cameo, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Cool. I finished Crushing It. So not only did I finish Crushing It, I actually made a video book review about it. So many of
Yeah,
you
I saved
know.
it.
Oh, you did? Nice. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, I have to watch it.
Yeah, so I'm in the middle right now of, which I think you reminded me of, the Everything Store. I'm rereading the
Mm.
Everything. You read it a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I'm actually listening now to also Amazon Unbound,
Okay,
uh,
yeah, that's. I'll
which is
probably
a
read that
follow-up.
next. Yeah, I've read them both already, but every couple of years I reread the good ones. So I'm in the middle of
Mm.
the Amazon store, the Everything Store, which is great. I finished Crushing It, which is, if you're trying to do anything, you know, resembling what like Chris and I are trying to do, build a tech company, build a business, build a personal brand. I think it's a great book to read. Crushing It, the second one, because it's more updated and it has all these cool success stories that stemmed from the first book, Crush It. I'll put the link in the. So I recorded a video because I find that I don't know. I like writing the book reviews, and I send book reviews to my daily email list. So make sure you're on that. But I feel like I can be far more expressive in a video, right? When I like click play and I can just kind of talk it out. I'm posting it in the chat if anybody wants to check it out after this video. Have you read Crushing It, Chris?
No, I have it, but I still have to get to it.
Okay,
I-
you
Is
should you
it
should
is it
definitely
just
read it.
examples of people, or does he also like teach like lessons, goes through his own like
Yeah.
business?
So here's the two things he does. The three things he does. Number one is he tells you about like his approach to social media, why you should be doing it, why it's so important to build a personal brand, and like some of his key principles, right? Being authentic, adding value, blah blah blah, testing, blah blah blah. Then the second thing he does is he talks about the main platforms and how to approach each one, right? How to post on YouTube versus how to
Mm.
post on Facebook versus whatever, right? So that's another reason why you should get Crushing It, which is the most updated one, because Crush It was from 2009 and the
Yeah.
platforms have changed since then, right? And then the third thing he does is he weaves in these success stories. So like
Nice.
under the YouTube chapter, there's a real life example from a reader who crushed it on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So it's really good. I highly recommend it. If you're posting a lot of content or trying to get into posting a lot of content, it's a great read. Cameo says for sure going to check it out. Awesome. And the beauty is, like anything, it's not rocket science, right? Like Chris, you specifically, you're not going to learn a ton that you didn't already know, but it's going to put the pieces together in your head, and it's also going to motivate you to get
Mm.
moving, right?
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
book I'll probably read. It's the second time I've read it. I'll probably read it every 2-3 years, and yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's well said. Like one thing that I realize reading these like biographies is that we often undervalue the motivation that we get from these books.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's what you really need. Like you need to hear like people who've done it and people who have been successful at it to really like motivate you and push you forward.
That's probably half of it for me, right? Like at this point, I've read a lot of books, and you're not going to read too much that's new, right? Now, if you're trying to get into something new, like for example, Facebook ads in your case, right, you might want to go consume more content to learn more about Facebook ads. But like in this case, maybe I was getting demotivated about posting as much content. I reread Crushing It. I'm like, damn, yeah, frig, Gary, you're right.
Mm.
I got to keep pushing it. This is what I'm working towards, right? It kind of like resets the vision and stuff like that. Um, Similarly, if I'm feeling like unmotivated in business, I'll pick up like Shoe Dog or the Everything Store, whatever. Read about one of these founders that had to really grind it out, before they, whatever. Even though I've read the book before, right? But it's that
Yeah, yeah.
reminder. I also find, I don't know about you, but I find that almost every time I read a book, you'll actually pick out something a little bit different from it
Oh,
because
for
of where
sure.
you're
Yeah.
at in that stage, right? You're at a different point in your life, a different point in your business. So the most important takeaways might actually change a couple of years
Yeah.
later on a reread.
Yeah, I use this. It's like an app that basically collects all my highlights into one. It's called Readwise, and sometimes I get a FOMO from seeing those highlights because it reminds me, oh fuck, this book was great. I want to reread it, but I don't have the time because I'm reading it 20 more books.
Right. What's
So
it called?
yeah,
What's
the app
that
is called
tool?
Readwise, and it syncs up. If you're interested, I
Like
just posted
READWISE.
Readwise altogether.
Cool.
I'm
I'll
gonna
add it to the
plug
show notes.
I'm gonna plug the video that I just posted on my channel, which is basically all about my system from learning from all books that I read. So if you go on the Conversion Alchemy channel, the latest video, it's all about that. It's a 20-minute video on my system using Readwise and all this stuff.
Send me the link. I'll put your video and my video in the show notes as well. We'll link to all this in the show notes, right, guys? So if you Readwise and letter growth and all that kind of stuff. Cameo says Readwise is really good. Okay, cool. I'm going to have to check it out. Awesome. Anything else, Chris, before we wrap up for this episode number 4 of the Grind Mastermind?
No, I think that's a lot of stuff already. So, yeah, jam-packed.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Cameo, it was great to have you. Make sure, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're listening on the podcast after the fact, please make sure to sub and like and support on whichever app that you're listening to on. Review, leave a 5-star or whatever, all that fun stuff. We will be back in 2 weeks, Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, and we will continue to share our thoughts, feelings, successes, failures. It looks like Friday's the 31st of March. Wait, no, not the 31st, sorry. The 17th.
Yeah.
Which is St. Patrick's Day here in Canada.
I'll be 1 year older because my birthday is on the 14th.
Oh, damn. Okay. Make sure, let me write that down. Chris S.V. Day. All right, well, that's it for us. Cameo with the thumbs up. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Chris, have a good 2 weeks, and we will see everybody in the next episode.
Let's keep on the grind.
Keep it going. All right.